Right, so for those waiting for the iPhone SE 4, I do have some bad news because the project could be postponed or even cancelled altogether, so let's delve into it. So yes, Min Chi Kuo believes there is a possibility the iPhone SE 4 gets postponed or cancelled because Apple's low to mid-range iPhones have not been selling that well. Specifically, the iPhone SE 3, the 13 mini and the 14 Plus have been well below expectations when it comes to sales units. And so yes, Apple's thinking that, hey, where's the incentive for us to produce the iPhone SE 4 when of course consumers are buying the higher end models instead. Also, Kuo says that because the SE 4 is going to have a major redesign, that of course is going to increase the cost of producing these and is also going to give it a higher selling price. And so yeah, Apple's simply thinking that, hey, what's the point of this when consumers might reject this? On top of all of this, there's also a recession that's looming upon us, and so Apple needs to be careful not recklessly spending on projects that might not give them a massive return on investment. Now, as for my thoughts on this, of course, I do want to see a major redesign for the SE, but what Kuo tells us does actually make sense for the most part, because yes, there is going to be a recession, and Apple wants to be careful with their spending, but also, of course, Apple's always been careful with the products they release, and they go after the products that, of course, are going to generate the most amount of cash and long-term users. And so Apple being hesitant with the SE 4 does make sense because of their recent failures. However, at the same time, I do want to say that with the iPhone SE 3, the 13 mini and the 14 Plus, there were pretty clear reasons why the market rejected these devices. For example, the iPhone SE 3 had a design that was way too old. The iPhone 6 form factor in 2022 for $400 is an absolute rip-off, and the design was really the key reason that put off consumers. Now with the 13 mini, I think as a product, Apple kind of nailed it. It's just the price of it that was a little too expensive, and those looking for a mini iPhone, of course, are not willing to pay flagship pricing, so a price cut would have made sense. And with the 14 Plus, once again, the price was too high, it was too close in price to the Pros, and the regular models frankly did not have much in terms of actual new features. And so for tech YouTuber that talks about Apple can figure this out, I'm sure Apple's aware of these simple mistakes they made with these products, and so that should not put them off the release of the SE 4, because as long as this has a design that's modern and comes under $450, I think this would sell like hotcakes. But yes, again, like I said, Apple's always a company that takes cautious steps, and so I'm not surprised they have doubts about the SE 4. Honestly though, I just think it's common sense to make the Mini the new SE because, as I said, the Mini form factor does have a market, it's just the fact they're not willing to spend $700. However, do remember that refurbished 12 minis at a much lower price, around the price of the iPhone SE 3, actually sold out within a few hours. And so yes, a mini iPhone with a modern design at an affordable price does have a big market, and I think that's exactly what the SE 4 should be. And yeah, if the SE 4 is postponed, I do hope Apple realizes we do not want the 10-hour body like some rumors have suggested. That definitely won't sell well, so of course, fingers crossed, Apple's listening to us and they do give us the mini form factor. And by the way, I'm completely fine with downgrades like a single lens on the back, or maybe even LCD or a slower chip. However, give us that newer design and that mini form factor that some love at a much lower price, and yeah, this is going to sell really well. However, I know that some may argue that this news about the iPhone SE 4 being cancelled is actually good news because Apple messed up the new base iPads, they compromised on too much and gave us a much higher price than expected, and so they could have equally messed up the iPhone SE 4 release. Anyways, let's delve into your comments. Supremo says 5.7-inch size is very possible given the fact they could recycle the 10 body and give it slightly thicker bezels, just like they did with the iPad 10. And yes, if we do still see an iPhone SE 4 materialize, that could be the case, but as I've said in previous videos, Apple usually only recycles designs that are still in circulation, which of course is not the case with the iPhone X design. That has not been produced since the iPhone 11 Pro, which of course was discontinued in 2020, so it's been a few years. And so as much as I do want this to be the case, I don't see Apple giving us a size similar to the iPhone X. Instead, it should be based on the Mini in my opinion. So Zeus says if the OLED they choose is only 60Hz, then it wouldn't cannibalize sales of the higher end models, especially since those targeting the SE generally do so because they have a specific price point they won't go past regardless. This is why two models make sense to milk and stretch that financial boundary from this target market. Now, I kinda agree with your first point, but I do want to say that most consumers are paying for these phones on a monthly basis, and so paying $100 or $200 more for the higher end device actually does make sense to some consumers because ultimately they're only going to be paying a few dollars extra per month. And so that's why Apple has a ladder of sorts with the iPhone lineup, where you gradually get more and more features as you go for the higher end models. And so yes, giving OLED to the SE would disrupt this, and the regular models would lose the edge they have over the SE, so yes, I don't see the SE getting OLED yet. Now regarding your last point on two SE models, actually I would be down for that. I think an SE Plus would be nice, especially for those wanting a little better battery life. You can get the Plus size instead. However, I do want to mention I was completely wrong about the 14 Plus. I thought that would do really well, but that was not the case. So considering we're entering a recession in 2023, Apple's going to be careful with their spending. And so yeah, with the basic SE4 on the verge of cancellation, I doubt we're going to get an SE Plus. So Poetic Wiz says, I would love to see a 6.4-inch iPhone SE since it would be in between the regular and Plus size, more like what we saw with the iPhone 11 series, though I doubt about the 13 series size difference. So I'm not completely understanding that last point, but regarding a 6.4-inch iPhone SE, I think that size makes more sense for the flagship series. In fact, I think the regular Pro should adopt this. There is actually a reply under this comment regarding this, but yeah, the regular Pro should get a small size increase. The additional space could allow it to get more camera features and a bigger battery inside, and then of course a smaller size like 6.1 inches, or in my opinion 5.4 inches, could be relegated to the SE. Because do remember that number one, the SE does not get new screen sizes, it's likely going to be based on an existing size. Also remember 6.4 inches might be that Goldilocks size that could push consumers to buy the more premium models instead. And so yeah, the SE4 becoming 6.4 inches doesn't seem as likely. So yeah, those are my thoughts guys, but of course, let me know your thoughts regarding this in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching guys, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours. Check out the video above on details regarding the 2023 MacBook Pros, and on that note, see ya peeps.